Well, welcome everybody to another segment of Lewis at Large. Yours truly, Warner Lewis from the Flight Deck. And as always, that means some Smart Talk Radio is in your future in this segment. Very, very pleased to have with us Cindy Maude. Who is Cindy Maude? Well, she, for many, many years, she was in private business in Northeast Kansas in the advertising and promotion business. She is since heading towards retirement, but also now has a new important role as the interim CEO of the Lawrence Arts Center. And we will talk about all things Arts Center and much, much more. Cindy, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Warner.
Well, we're pleased to have you here. We've not had someone from the Arts Center on for quite a while, maybe a couple of years now. Let's do this. Let's give our Lewis at Large listeners a little bit more about your background. Tell us a little bit about your private business background in advertising and others, and then what brought you your passion or whatever the reasons were to the Lawrence Arts Center at the very beginning.
Okay. Well, let's see. I owned Callahan Creek, which is a marketing firm that's located here in Lawrence. It used to be in Topeka, and we moved it over to Lawrence in 1999. And because of my creative background in a creative business, I've always been really interested in the arts. And also, Callahan Creek did quite a bit of work for the Lawrence Arts Center when Susan Tate first started as the CEO of the Lawrence Arts Center. She asked us to do a whole new rebranding of the Arts Center. And so we helped the Arts Center for about 3 years, and all of us got quite involved with the Arts Center and just were very impressed with all the programs and the performances and the exhibits and all the great things that the Arts Center does. And I've always loved the arts. Both of my kids went into the art field. I think that we encourage them to do that, to do what they love. And I'm always excited when they can find a job doing not only what they love, but when it's in the arts, that's really a great thing too, because I think it enriches all of us, it enriches our community. And so that's how I ended up here at the Lawrence Arts Center. I have been on the board of the Arts Center the last 2 years. And so when the Arts Center was going through this transition, I was happy to be able to step in and support the transition.
Lawrence has always been relatively supportive of the arts. Are you finding that so in your new position?
Yes, I think Lawrence is very supportive of the arts. I think that's one of the things that makes Lawrence what it is, what makes Lawrence unique. I think there are a lot of very talented artists in this city. I think there are a lot of patrons who really love the arts of every kind, and lots of arts organizations in town. So I think we have a richness in Lawrence that, really does support the arts, and people love to be a part of it.
Let's, again, for those you would think most people would know, but if they do not know, let's dive in a little bit into, in the Arts Center supports primarily the visual arts, or are music and writing also a part of it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's pretty broad. There's the exhibition program, which is the visual arts, and the exhibition program, showcases works by, last year over 160 artists, and hosts a lot of artist talks and brings national and international artists to the Arts Center, as well as supporting local artists. But in addition to that, there's the performing arts that last year did about 70 performances, and that includes theater productions, it includes dance, it includes music performances like classical music. So it's a broad range of performing arts. And then there's also the very, very robust education program here. So that starts with the arts-based preschool, and now we have the arts-based kindergarten. But then it goes into really, really great and innovative programs for middle school students, high school students, and one of the programs is the STEAM program. So that's taking the now popular STEM program and adding the arts. So STEAM program, and that's an after-school program for middle school and high school kids. And we provide a lot of financial aid for students who can't, pay for classes. So, education is very important here, arts education, and there's lots of really innovative programs that are supported by donors and supported by grants. And so we're very fortunate that people do support the education programs here so that we can provide financial aid to students who otherwise wouldn't be able to participate.
If you just joined us, yours truly, Warner Lewis from the flight deck of Lewis at Large Radio. Our special guest this segment is Cindy Maude, for many, many years in private business in Topeka, Lawrence, and across Northeast Kansas, and frankly across the country, and now serving as the interim CEO of the Lawrence Arts Center. Cindy, what's the actual mission statement of the Arts Center, and beyond that, on a day in, day out basis? What are the kinds of things that you as the CEO would be directly involved with there?
Okay. Well, the actual mission statement is we're here to enrich and invigorate the community by offering the best in contemporary exhibitions, performance, and visual and performing arts education. So those are all the things that I was just talking about. And wow, on a daily basis, I've been here about a month now, and I have to say that being a board member is very different than actually being here, because I am really beginning to fully understand the scope of work and programs that the Art Center does. So on a daily basis, I'm getting up to speed on different programs. I'm working with the marketing and programming staff so that we are, finding the best ways to communicate the programs that are offered here at the Art Center. Working with donors, because that's incredibly important to the success of the Art Center. We are also undergoing a strategic plan at the Art Center right now. So I've been working with our consultant who's helping us facilitate that plan on really getting things in order for our strategic planning meetings. So we have a strategic planning task force that will be working over the next few months to develop the strategic plan, and then in conjunction with the staff and board to develop the strategic plan. So I'm working on that quite a bit. And working on trying to understand the budget and all those kind of things that, go into running the organization.
Cindy, what historically, and maybe describe for us a little bit, since at least in your tenure there on the board, and just as, frankly, a resident of Lawrence, what has been the relationship between the Arts Center and a lot of the visual artists in this community? And is it one of helping and sharing? Is it adversarial at times, or is it a little bit of both? And give us maybe some of those reasons from where you sit, and how are things as of today?
Okay. Well, I have to say that the Art Center, of course, is only successful because of the artists that we have here locally. And while we do bring in art and artists from other areas so that our local artists can participate in talks and things that are going on, across the world, our local artists are the ones who really support the Art Center. And the way they support the Art Center, number one, is a lot of them teach the adult and teenage classes here. So there are lots of classes, painting classes, ceramics classes, jewelry classes, writing classes, filmmaking classes. The list kind of goes on. And the people who teach those classes are local artists. In addition to that, the artists here in our local community are extremely generous. Each year they donate art to the annual art auction, which is one of our biggest fundraisers benefiting the exhibitions program. And last year, that art auction raised over $300,000. So you can see that the artists are providing a huge support to the Art Center. I think our goal going forward is we want to be sure that we, in turn, are supporting them. So in our strategic planning process, we're definitely going to be looking at programs that continue to support them, like, artist talks and ways that they can get together and share about, what they're doing and, new thinking and things like that go on at the Art Center, almost every night. So we definitely want to be supportive of the artists in our community, and we're going to be looking at continuing ways to do that. And hopefully the local artists feel that way. I'm sure that sometimes they feel like, gosh, I'd like a little bit more in return for the, what I donate to the art auction and things like that. So, we're definitely trying to listen. A part of our strategic planning process was a survey to the community at large and a survey to the artists. And we got a lot of really great response from artists. And I would say that the bulk of it was extremely positive about the Art Center and what they gained from being a part of the community here. And then, of course, there were things that we can work on, and we're definitely going to take that into consideration as we put together the strategic plan.
Cindy, as you look at their relationship and the role maybe in our community of the Lawrence Arts Center, in the relationship to the community in which it's in, is it different, or is it similar to the comparable organization maybe in Topeka, Manhattan, Wichita, some other surrounding communities, based on what you've seen and the kind of conversations and exchanges you've had with your counterparts?
Well, I think that there are definitely great organizations in those other communities, and great artistic opportunities and art experience opportunities in Topeka and Manhattan. I think the Art Center is unique in the way that we offer such multidisciplinary programs here. I don't think there is a place in Topeka or Manhattan that has exhibits housed in the same place as performances housed in the same place as a robust education program like there is here at the Art Center. But are there really great programs that we definitely have an interchange with some of those communities in the in what they're doing in the arts? Absolutely. And I think that but I do think the Art Center is unique in the amount of art experiences that we offer.
What about this sort of the touchy issue, I guess, of at what point do you have to have your hand out, so to speak, as a nonprofit organization? At what point do you expect or should you get support from the city or other sources? Fundraising, I know, is always a tough one. Are you finding that it's a little bit more of a challenge than what you thought, or do you find that it's nothing's easy, but maybe less hard than you thought it might be?
I think it's a challenge, maybe more so than I thought, because the city has different priorities right now, and so our support from the city has gone down quite a bit. But as I said earlier, we also have extremely generous people here in Lawrence who love the Art Center and are extremely supportive. I think for the long-term health of the Art Center, we definitely are going to be focusing, again, in our strategic plan about how can we be sustainable and offer everything that we do and the financial aid that we, want to offer so that everybody has access to the arts. And, the diverse programs that we offer, we want to balance that with being able to fund that. So I think that definitely a plan needs to be put together where we can say, okay, how much can we expect each year from donors? How much can we expect from hopefully from grants that we get? And, how can we then make some of our programs a little bit more self-funding so that, we don't always have to subsidize programs. We're looking at all of that. It's a daily challenge probably for every nonprofit, and we are certainly in that category with all the other nonprofits as well. I mean, it's a daily challenge.
Yeah. Oh, indeed. Well, let's take a look, maybe a higher level look, without getting too specific, if you don't want to. Just the offerings at the Arts Center and for the different constituencies, and by that I mean offerings maybe that might be for various ages, whether it's preschoolers or those in grade school versus those in high school versus those young families versus elderly and middle-aged, and then some of the different kinds of classes that are offered there and opportunities.
Okay. Well, as I said, the Arts Center has built its education programs around all the ages. So there's the childhood education program, there's the preschool and the kindergarten, but then there's also the STEAM programming for first to fifth graders. There's creative youth development programming for middle and high school students. There's and all of these are very popular and usually have a waiting list. There's also the Arts Center STEAM program, Art Space, that has been, honored nationally as a really great pilot program. Hang 12 is a program for the Arts Center. It's an internship program for middle and high school students interested in art curation. And it has just completed its second year of monthly curated youth art exhibits in downtown Lawrence. And now we've just started Play 12, which is an Art Center youth production company for middle and high school students. So we have a lot for, preschool through high school. And then we also have, all the adult education classes, which are varied. I mean, there's several people who are teaching painting, drawing, different disciplines, different kinds of painting, photography, jewelry, metalsmithing, glass classes, ceramics, several ceramics programs, several writing classes, filmmaking classes. I mean, it really runs and there's even classes for how to audition better if you want to be in a performance. So, I mean, it covers and tons of dance classes. I mean, we have a very, robust dance school, and the dance school is even starting a separate hip hop dance program. And so, we're trying to be interesting and engaging for all different kinds of people. We also are looking at trying to find better ways to reach seniors, even from transportation programs, and looking at the kind of programming and classes that might be of interest to them. So, I mean, it really goes from little tiny kids to, much older kids. So,
again, we're talking to Cindy Maude here on Lewis at Large. There's truly Warner Lewis from the Flight Deck. Cindy's the interim CEO of the Lawrence Arts Center. Cindy is. Let's talk about, again, the key word in your title. Well, there's two of them, interim and CEO, but let's look at interim. That suggests you may not have that position for a long time. You're volunteering your time and talents to help out. How is the search going, and what's that process, and what kind of timeline are you on for that?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, we're in the strategic planning process, and we wanted to be a little bit farther along so that where we end up, as for the vision of the Art Center and where we're going, so we can allow that to drive the kind of person that we're looking for. We will begin to put together the plan for the search in October, and hopefully then begin the search process in November. Our strategic planning process will be finished by the end of this year, but we want to be at least in the process of looking for the new CEO so that we can have somebody on board, early in 2018.
Cindy, what about, again, from your vantage point, again, as a board member and currently the interim CEO, what do you see as example as one of the great challenges that the Art Center will face over the next, let's say, 2 or 3 years, and what might be a tremendous opportunity that it can grab in the same time period?
Okay. Well, I think probably the biggest challenge is sustainable funding, because we want to be sure that we can continue to offer great programs, but to be sure that we have sustainable funding sources to do that. So I would say that's a pretty big challenge. I think one of the greatest opportunities for the Art Center has to do with one of the greatest opportunities for Lawrence, I think, and that is we have an incredible community that, there are several things that make Lawrence unique. Of course, KU, and KU sports. But one of the biggest things is the arts in this community. And so an opportunity for us to really position Lawrence as one of the finest, arts communities in the Midwest or even in the nation needs to be done in conjunction with all the arts organizations working together. And, we have so many in this community. And so I think that we all need to pull together and really, promote what is really uniquely great about Lawrence, which is talented artists, creative thinking, and that creative thinking, leads to innovation. All these programs that we're doing for middle and high school students, it's not just about providing them art opportunities. It is a STEAM program, so it's about helping them understand and learn the basics of, education, the science and the math and, technology and all those things, with art as a core of that, because when you help people use their imagination, they're better critical thinkers and, they're more successful. So we have had really great success with these programs showing that kids are not only, having fun here, but they are learning a lot, and they are retaining knowledge about science and math and other areas by participating in this kind of critical thinking kind of program. So the opportunity, I think, is to continue to support the young people in Lawrence by providing this, kind of place where they can imagine and learn and be really great critical thinkers. And it's also then just providing that same opportunity for adults, in a community where we can all continue to grow and learn and create and be curious and support one another, and to do that in conjunction with all the arts organizations in Lawrence.
Well, it is one of the organizations that has a high profile in this community. It has touched the lives of thousands over the year, the Lawrence Arts Center. We've been talking to interim CEO Cindy Maude, who also served previously on the board, has been in private business in Kansas for many, many decades, and is lending her time and talents to the Art Center until they find a permanent CEO. Cindy, how can people find out more about the Art Center and some of the programs that it offers?
Well, we have a great website, so I would encourage people to go to the website, which is just lawrenceartscenter.org. We also have a Facebook page that lists all the events that are coming up, and you can definitely see that there are tons of them. Those are the two best ways. I think you can get all the information that you need on the Facebook page and the website. I will put in a plug for our upcoming fundraising event, and this event goes to benefit the Education Fund and financial aid, and that is our Speakeasy Party on September 30th here at the Art Center. It's going to be a really fun party, and all the proceeds from that party go to support the Education Fund and financial aid for the Lawrence Art Center. We have a lot of great sponsors for that program, which enable us to have the money all go to support education and financial aid. Well, and there's a big street party the night before with Junior Brown, if people are interested in that. So 2 nights of partying here at the Lawrence Art Center to benefit education and financial aid.
Another famous Lawrence Art Center Street Music Festival, right?
That's right, yeah.
Well, listen, thank you so much for your time, and I do appreciate it. Best of luck to you, and good luck for the future of the Art Center and finding a quality new CEO.
Thanks, Warner.
You bet. We'll be back with more right after this on Lewis at Large. You love your dog, and you love your yard, but sometimes what your dog leaves behind can make you not love your yard so much. Well, when that happens, it's Call of Duty Pet Waste Removal Service to the rescue. Large or small dogs, big yard or small, call Call of Duty. They clean up the mess your dog leaves behind. So if you're tired of cleaning pet waste from your yard, call Call of Duty, 764-7224. That's 764-7224. Prompt, effective, courteous services on the way. Your yard is left clean and waste-free. So don't waste any more time on waste. Call Call of Duty in Lawrence, 764-7224. That's 764-7224. Or visit their website, callofduty2010.web.com.